In this video, I'm going to be going through required practical 9, the respirometer for A-level biology, and we're going to be measuring the rate of respiration. Now, I'm going to be talking you through the equipment, method, and how you'd collect these results and then how you'd process them. And if you want all of that in a free guide, I've linked that in the description below. Don't forget to hit subscribe as well, because I'm going through all of the required practicals, so you don't want to miss it. A big thank you to Woodford County High School as well for having me here today to film all of these required practicals for you. Now, this practical itself isn't actually very complicated. It's quite easy for students to do. However, it notoriously doesn't work. So I'm going to be very surprised if I manage to get this to work today and we do actually see any coloured liquid move. But fingers crossed, let's see how it goes. So what you have here is your manometer, which makes up the pressure chamber part of your respirometer. I've got a clamp stand and clamp holding this in place. And then on the other side of this, I've got my 2 boiling tubes. This one here has got yeast. This one here has just got soda lime. I'm going to be adding 5 millilitres of glucose solution to the yeast, and I'm going to be adding 5 millilitres of distilled water to the soda lime. And we should find that we only have respiration occurring in the side with the yeast because it's a living thing, whereas soda lime is not living. So we should have just respiration on this side. We've also got these 3-way taps at the top connected to the bungs, so we can control exactly where air can and cannot enter and exit these 2 boiling tubes. They're both going to be in a water bar to control the temperature, and we've got a thermometer to control that temperature as well. So in terms of risks linked to this practical, it's quite a low risk one. The main things is that yes, we are using yeast, which is a microbe, so wash your hands afterwards. And also we do have glassware, so there's always a risk that that could break and cut the skin. So make sure you don't have anything close to the edge. Boiling tubes, when they're not in use, make sure they are in a boiling tube rack as well. So let's just go through the theory of this experiment and explain what we expect to happen. So we've got the yeast on this side, and I'm going to be testing it under aerobic conditions. So there is oxygen already within those chambers. Now I've got the soda lime on both sides. The point of the soda lime is that absorbs carbon dioxide gas. And in aerobic respiration, when that yeast is respiring, it's going to be taking in oxygen, so therefore decreasing the volume of gas in the chamber because it needs the oxygen for respiration, and it's going to be producing the carbon dioxide. But that carbon dioxide isn't then going to stay in the chamber as gas because it's absorbed by those solid soda lime particles. So that means on this side where I have the yeast respiring, we should have a decrease in the volume of gas and therefore a decrease in the pressure of the gas on this side compared to the other side. And that should then mean that the coloured liquid is going to move down that pressure gradient. This side is higher pressure, this side is lower, so the coloured liquid should move around. And then we can measure the distance that that coloured liquid moved in a set amount of time. We can use the distance to work out the volume of gas absorbed in terms of oxygen, and then by looking at the volume of oxygen produced over time, so per minute, that can be used to estimate our rate of respiration. Now, the reason I say it notoriously doesn't work is all of that theory and setup, because this is so dependent on pressure changes and even atmospheric pressure, you sometimes don't see this coloured liquid moving. And when I say sometimes, you rarely do. And if you have managed to get this to work, please write in the comments what you have done to get this to work, because I've not spoken to any teacher who has managed to have guaranteed success repeatably. So let's have a go. We have got our yeast already measured out, the soda lime in both sides. Next I'm going to do then is set up my water bath. And I'm going to go for 37 degrees C because that's going to be the optimum temperature for the rate of respiration, and we want this to work. So the equipment then, we've talked about the clamp stand, the clamp, we've got our respirometer, 2 boiling tubes, 2 beakers, thermometer. We've got our yeast soda lime. I've also got here my glucose solution, a stop clock, and I've got syringes to be able to add our distilled water and glucose solutions to the appropriate tubes. So water bath, I'm going to add in some warm water, making sure it does actually cover the tubes. See what temperature we are at. Okay, that was at 40. Okay, they're both actually at 40 already, so that's good. We'll go for 40. Now we need to add our distilled water to this side, and we need to add our glucose solution to this side. But we need to be very conscious of the position of the three-way taps at this point. Now you want to leave this for about 10 minutes to acclimatize. And by that we mean reach this temperature, allow those chambers to fill with gas, let the gases expand as well, because this is all to do with pressure changes. And also for the yeast to reach that current rate of respiration. So we do need to get it all set up, leave it for about 5 minutes, and then we will measure it as we go. Now, while we're doing that and leaving it to acclimatize, I'm going to close the three-way tap to that chamber so that those gases in the chambers are expanding and it's reaching temperature, but it's not going to be impacting our results here. So now I've got those three-way taps set up, I'm going to add in my glucose solution to the yeast and my distilled water to the soda lime. Equal volume for both because we're using the distilled water as a controlled test tube. You do have to be very careful because this is all very delicate and fiddly. Okay, and let's leave that to acclimatize. So now we've left it to acclimatise and I can see it's bubbling away. We can now open up the valve so the gas is now entering into the chamber as well. And we've got these screwed on, so let's open and open. And you need to record the start position and start your stop clock. And that's at 5.3. So my start point here is 5.3. I'm going to leave it for 5 minutes and we should see the coloured liquid moves up this way. As you can see, it clearly hasn't worked, and I think our yeast has potentially been overactive and it's managed to bubble through. So that could be that maybe we didn't have enough soda lime in there to absorb the carbon dioxide that it was producing. And so there's now so much carbon dioxide, it's all bubbling over and it's going into this one. But here is what you would have expected to have seen. So to then work out the rate of respiration, we are going to work out the volume of oxygen taken up per minute. So let's say we did leave it for 5 minutes and we recorded the distance that that coloured drop of liquid moved. We will then know the volume of oxygen taken up, because if we can work out the volume in that cylinder of oxygen that has moved into the yeast, we can then calculate it. So the diameter of that capillary tube, we could then use for pi r squared to work out the area of the circle. And then the distance that the coloured liquid moved, we times it by that, our length or distance. And that tells us the volume of oxygen that was taken up. And if we left that for 5 minutes, we would do the volume of oxygen taken up divided by 5, and that then tells us the volume of oxygen per minute. So if it was centimetres cubed, it would be centimetres cubed per minute as our unit. And if you were then going to do a comparison to see the effect of temperature on the rate of respiration, you could do that exact same setup, but instead of setting up at 40 degrees C, you could try a range of other temperatures and compare the rate of respiration. So that is it for Required Practical 9. Don't forget to click the link in the description to download the free guide for this practical and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any other of the Required Practicals coming up.